Is our local Charlotte, North Carolina housing market overvalued and set for a correction? According to Fannie Mae, only 16% of consumers say that now is a good time to buy a home. With housing affordability conditions at the worst they've ever been and sky-high mortgage rates, could we finally start to see this housing market cool down? Hi guys, my name is Josh Finigan, team leader with the Finigan Group powered by eXp Realty, and today we're going to give you a full update on the most up-to-date information on our housing market, more specifically our local housing market here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Today we're going to review the micro and macro trends affecting our housing market, like the most up-to-date statistics on the homes coming available, the homes sold, the average sales price. We'll also take a look at the mortgage rates and what the Federal Reserve is planning to do here in the future. I know a lot of you out there do watch our market updates every single month that they release, but if you aren't subscribed and you want to make sure you stay 100% in the know on what's going on in your backyard, make sure you click that subscribe button, turn notifications on, so you're notified immediately whenever we release a new market update. So let's go ahead and look at the most up-to-date local Charlotte, North Carolina housing statistics. And first up is the number of new listings. In September, we saw 1,216 new listings hit the market, which is a 4% decrease from the number of new listings that hit the market in August, and it was a 9% decrease from the number of new listings we saw at the market in September of 2022. So we definitely saw a downward trend of the number of new listings we saw hit the market month over month, which really can point back to one of two reasons. First is the seasonal trends, right? We're gonna see fewer and fewer homes hit the market as we enter into those winter months. The second reason could be that the mortgage rates actually rose a little bit. And if you guys do watch our previous market updates, you know one thing we've definitely seen throughout this entire year is these higher mortgage rates have discouraged would-be home sellers from making that move. So the higher the rates go, we could actually see fewer people decide to put their homes on the market. Hey Charlotte, North Carolina homeowners, are you curious as to what your home is actually worth? Because what you think your home is worth and what your home is actually worth can be two completely different things. Since January of 2019, home prices here in Charlotte have increased by 64%. However, since June of 2022, they've decreased by about 12%. So if you are just a little bit curious on what your home's actually worth, click here, fill out your address, and you will get your home's value instantly. We have one of the best programs that will keep you fully up to date every step of the way on what your home's true value is. And if you would like a full in-depth analysis on what your home is actually worth, all you have to do is fill out a little bit more information and we will reach out to you personally and give you a customized comparative market analysis on your home, what your value is, and it's absolutely free. And guys, even if you got your home's value a couple months ago, it's probably already out of date. So if you want to find out how much equity is in your home, how much cash you're currently sitting on, all you have to do is click here, fill out your address, and you will get an accurate, free, and instant home value report on your home. And if you have any questions, we're here to help. Looking forward to hearing from you soon. So how about the number of homes that accepted an offer? In September, 912 homes accepted an offer here in Charlotte, which was a 12% decrease from the amount of homes that accepted an offer in August, and it was a 29% decrease from the number of homes that accepted an offer in September of last year. So we definitely saw a huge decline in the number of pending sales. Obviously, year over year, we're gonna have much fewer homes accept offers because frankly, there's much fewer homes going on the market. We've seen that the number of homes on the market, pending and closed are all much lower than they have been the past couple of years. But we did see a pretty substantial decrease in the number of pending sales from August to September, which could be attributed to seasonal trends, but it's a pretty large decrease. So another reason we could have seen a lot fewer homes go under contract in September, we saw those rates tick up a little bit. They're actually just above 8% right now. So we could see those buyers are really getting worn down by those higher interest rates, which means fewer homes are going to go under contract. Now, another key point is the number of new listings did once again outpace the number of pending sales, which has been a common trend throughout this entire year. Now, when the number of new listings outpace the number of pending sales, it should be a sign that our inventory is increasing, right? More homes are coming on the market than are accepting offers, so there should be more and more homes available on the market. And that's really one of the first signs we start to see when we start seeing a shift between between a buyer's market and a seller's market. But our local active listing inventory continues to decrease. In September, we saw an average of 3,016 active listings on the market here in Charlotte, which was a 2% decrease from the number of active listings in August, and it was a 23% decrease from the amount of active listings we saw in September of 2022. So again, obviously, I'm not too concerned about year over year we're seeing much fewer homes on the market because that's been a trend. Fewer people are putting their homes on the market. But over the past couple months, we've started to see the number of active listings on the market at any given time decrease. Now, if the number of new listings are outpacing the number of pending sales, why is that? And the reason is the number of withdrawn and expired listings have increased. In September, 1,351 listings withdrew or expired, which means they were taken off of the market. That's a 10% increase from the amount of withdrawn and expired listings we saw in August. And this could help point to why we're seeing the number of new listings continue to outpace the number of pending sales, but the active inventory is decreasing. So we're starting to see a lot of people that had their home actively listed for sale decide to take their home off the market. Maybe they weren't having the success they were hoping for, maybe they weren't getting the offers they were hoping for, so they would draw the listing and either decide to relist with the right agent and the right marketing, or rent the property out, or just give up on making a move altogether. We're not in the markets that we've seen in the past couple years. Now, this market has been very resilient and we have seen the overall sales price increase throughout this year, even though we've had a few months where the price decreased recently. But the average days on market for homes here in Charlotte have increased this year, and it has to do with buyers' affordability and these higher rates. So if you are looking to sell, then you want to make sure you align with the right agent that, number one, knows the market, keeps an eye on the market, and has that aggressive marketing approach that can ensure that you get in front of the right buyers and your home sells. Because frankly, this market is a strong market. It's just not like the euphoria we saw over the past couple years. And I tell you, we've recently received a lot of calls from homeowners that listed with their agent, didn't feel like they were getting the right process, the right advice, or the right marketing. We were able to revitalize their listing and get their home sold. So if you haven't had success on the market previously, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to chat with you and then really create that game plan that helps you achieve your goals, because homes are still selling. Which brings us to the number of closed homes. In September, we saw 968 homes close, which was a 16% decrease from the number of homes we saw close in August, and it was a 25% decrease from the number of closed homes we saw in September of 2022. Which is a testament, again, fewer homes are selling. Less homes are going on the market, which means less homes are going under contract, which means less homes are selling. And one of the big issues we have right now in the real estate market, which has really kept our housing market strong, is we've had very low levels of housing inventory. And we can see that in the data here. In September, the average sales price here in Charlotte was $540,000, which was a 4% increase from the average sales price in August, and it was an 11% increase from the average sales price in September of 2022. So we're definitely starting to see healthy appreciation year over year, and we saw a good month over month appreciation in housing prices this month. Even though we've seen the average sales price decrease over the past couple of months, we saw a healthy appreciation month over month for the month of September. So this really shows us that the housing market here in Charlotte has remained resilient even though we've seen massive rate hikes. And one thing really affecting our local Charlotte housing market and the nation's housing market is the Federal Reserve and raising the rates. So we always like to keep an eye on what the Federal Reserve is doing because it affects us in real time. The Federal Reserve did meet last month on September 19th and September 20th and decided to keep rates the same. They didn't hike or lower rates. But they did strongly indicate that they expect to raise rates one more time before the end of the year. So we're definitely seeing the mortgage rates be affected by the Fed's prime rate. Right now, the rates are really remaining steady right above that 8% mark. The Federal Reserve also indicated that we could possibly see these rates remain quite high for much longer than we previously expected. And if we look at the most recent Federal Reserve dot plot, we can see that they're expecting one more rate hike this year and only 2 rate rate cuts next year, probably more later in the year, which is 2 fewer than what they previously predicted in June. Now, the Federal Reserve will meet 2 more times before the end of this year. Once October 31st and November 2nd, and then the second time December 12th and December 13th. So these are days you definitely want to make sure you pay attention to if you are considering selling your property. Because one thing we did see is the last rate hike really put a damper on the buyer's purchasing pulse in our housing market. So it seems that the farther we get into the 8s, it really slows our housing market down. So we'll probably see any further rate hikes affect our housing market much stronger than the previous ones have. And another thing we're keeping a close eye on as we move into the fourth quarter is student loans. Now, October marks the first month in the past couple of years that student loans are now due again. That's over $1.7 trillion in debt for over 40 million Americans. So that's going to be an added expense of anywhere from a couple $100s up to a couple $1,000s a month for potential home buyers out there. So we definitely want to keep a close eye on how this affects our buyer pool here in the Charlotte area and the nation as a whole, how it affects inflation, buyers' purchasing power in all aspects of the economy, and the Federal Reserve's decisions as they move forward and take a look at all this data. So what does this mean for you home sellers? Well, the market is a little bit more challenging than it has been in the previous years. More homes are coming on the market than are selling. So you're gonna have a little bit more competition, and the average days on market's a little bit higher. So you wanna make sure you have a little bit more of an aggressive approach and make sure you choose the right realtor to give you the right advice, put you in the right position in the market, and get your home sold for as much money as possible. Because frankly, a lot of homes are still selling. We're still having a lot of success with our clients currently on the market and that have recently sold. It's really proven that our housing market's quite resilient, even though we've seen much higher rates and much lower housing affordability for the buyers out there. So for you home sellers, 2 things you really want to pay close attention to is the Federal Reserve and their rate hikes. In the near future, if the Federal Reserve does decide to raise rates again, either in October or December, then we could possibly see the mortgage rates rise in tune with them, and we can see that really affect the buyer's affordability in our market. And we've seen the most recent rate hike have a stronger effect on these buyers than the previous ones have. The other one is student loans and how that affects our buyer pool out there. Now, this is the very first month that these bills are due, so we don't have the data for that yet, but it's something you want to pay close attention to if you are considering selling your home. How about for you home buyers out there? And frankly, right now is one of the most unaffordable times to buy a home that we've ever seen. So one thing we strongly recommend to our clients is only purchase a property if you are comfortable and can afford to purchase a property, right? If you are secure in your job, if you're not stretching yourself too thin to purchase a property. And the last thing you want to do is stretch yourself too far where you're buying a property outside your means and you're putting yourself in a bad financial position. And yes, you can always purchase a property with a higher mortgage rate and refinance when the rates drop in the future, but you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're uncomfortable in the meantime, just hoping and waiting and praying that the rates will drop one day, because frankly, no one knows when the rates will drop. They can drop much sooner than expected, or they can drop much later than expected. Myself and my wife just purchased a property, right? We were well within our means to do so, and we're very comfortable with the payment where it is. And we know that we can refinance when rates drop, but we're comfortable with the payment that we have, and we're not stretching ourselves and putting ourselves in a negative financial position. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest things for you buyers to focus on if you're considering purchasing a property. But for those of you buyers on the sidelines waiting for the market to crash before you purchase a property, you may be waiting indefinitely. Definitely don't see any data pointing to the fact that we're going to see a huge housing crash like we did back in the Great Recession, right? Inventory is still extremely low, and until that changes, we're probably going to see this market relatively resilient. Now, could we possibly see some fluctuations here and there? And the answer is yes, especially with student loans, rates, the overall economy. There's a lot of things that go into a factor, but the housing market itself has remained resilient through the past few years. And if you are a buyer just sitting on the sidelines waiting for rates to drop before you jump back in, just just know that you are one of millions of home buyers sitting on the market right now waiting for those rates to drop. So what we're probably going to see is once those rates start dropping, millions and millions of more home buyers are going to jump in the market, which increases your demand for those homes, which means you're probably going to see a pop in the sales price. Where right now, depending on the home and depending on the situation, you could probably negotiate a little bit more favorable terms when you're purchasing a property than if you were in that position. But again, guys, everybody's situation is unique and different. So if you are considering buying, selling, or investing in real estate, myself and my team would love to be your real estate resource of choice. Feel free to give us a call, text us, email us, carrier pigeon, whatever works best for you. I'd love to sit down with you, learn a little bit more about what you're looking to accomplish and how we can help. I really appreciate you tuning in and watching. If you liked the video or got something out of it, please click that like button and share it to a friend that may find some value in learning a little bit more about our local housing market. And make sure you guys do click subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Guys, I'll catch you in the next video.